Max. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for your mercy and your grace. We thank you for each and every person that is here and those that are watching online. I pray, God, that you'll be with us. Help us to do your business, but also help us to do the city's business. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We're going to do a couple quick presentations first. First, we'll call Mr. Keith Mitchell to the front. He has a presentation for us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, we can, Mayor. Yes, we can. The mayor and the council and the visitors and whomever, I'll make this reasonably brief, but several meetings ago, when you all were trying to improve the West End with the new concrete and driveways and so on, I brought you a mug which says it can be done. Supposedly that was on Ronald Reagan's wall behind his chair in the White House. And sure enough, you all could do it, and sure enough, you did do it, and it's been a big addition, in my opinion. The hospital program that you all are discussing is the same situation to me. Yes, we can. Hospital does not need you and me. We need the hospital. I understand that the fireworks are still in order, and we will fund those again from TICO, and glad to do that. I have a presentation, as he said. Let me make that two for you and see if I can make sense out of this. I have in my possession Barry can hold that one so he won't get it on him. I may have given you the wrong one. Hold those are, I don't exactly understand why or how the colors, I don't know who came up with this pattern, but supposedly this is the
That's the fire.
this is the fire. Yeah, this is fire department. I didn't get them right, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Kennett Fire Department rescue flag that we. This is made just north of Kennett, Missouri, by local people with local wood and local labor, and we're glad to present that to the fire department, and not just the fire department and the police department as the fighters and the people we see, but behind the offices and families and all, the city. I'm going to take the privilege of saying the city would like to say thanks to all of those people and others also, but these are just so pretty. I just thought you all had to have one of them. And
Thank you, sir.
and the blue is for the police department, and this is evidently accepted by everybody on the internet and all the idiot boxes in every place. So this is we just didn't make this up. This supposedly is the official way that they should be painted and presented. So this is, I didn't do this on my own, they did it for me. If the, I'd like for y'all to really understand this and to remember it for me, because as of tomorrow morning, I may not remember I said it, but if we disband the police departments and the fire departments and everything, I wish to have these back to put in my museum. So I want to, this is just sort of a conditional thing that,
I got a pretty good feeling you're not getting it.
and that's really all I have, and I appreciate you letting me do this ahead of time. And but I, as one, and as I say, I'm going to accept. I'm going to say that the city 100% is behind me in saying we do appreciate these and other government institutions and employees. And I just want to do this little thing here and maybe give you some idea. People really are behind you. As far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
I'm going nowhere.
Oh, take a picture.
Oh, you want the picture?
Well, I was wearing my hat if I know that. You got that?
Lean your head back.
There you go, one for, you got it says bar on
Do
it.
a little advertising for me.
No, it wouldn't do me justice.
That'll be good, or you want to come around this way?
It's hard for us to get little. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, kids. Thank you, sir. And the cat lady too.
All right, we've got our next presentation with Jeff R. from Burma. So he can head back. Sorry. Well, it's a tough act to follow. I mean, that's his witness, so I'll do the best I can. Like the mayor said, my name is Jeff R. I'm one of the loss control consultants with MERMA. MERMA is a self-insurance pool that the city's been a member of since July of 1986. We provide our members with a comprehensive coverage packet that we process and handle claims, and we ask our members to be very proactive in the best practices of risk management. You know, we do that through our newsletter. We have seminars and our annual meeting where we have speakers talk on topics pertinent to municipalities. I'm required to make multiple on-site visits, and we also have multiple reimbursement programs. One of the programs that we have, and the reason why I'm here tonight, is this risk grant program. It was put together several years ago to help members purchase equipment that you've identified a need for, and it also fits within our mission statement. This past year, we received an application from City Hall for assistance to purchase some partitions to go where the deputy city clerk sits, in an attempt to keep information private so people can't just walk up and take pictures when they want to. Basically, these things called these First Amendment auditors. Are you maybe familiar with those folks? But anyway, the committee met and approved $636 to go towards the purchase of that. Tonight I have a wooden IOU that says we owe you that amount of money. It is a reimbursement program, so if you've already bought those items, all I need is a canceled check, an invoice, and a statement stating that you're using them, and we can get that money to you. But for the time being, I do have this. I'd like to thank the staff at City Hall for taking the time to write that grant up and getting this money here, and hopefully we'll be back next year and doing this all over again. With that, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Getting used to it.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the staff, Leslie and Brenda, for writing this up and getting the award for the city. Thank you. Have a safe trip back to Columbia. All right, next you had in your packet, the regular scheduled business meeting of 11/3/2020.
Motion.
A motion? Second to a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. We'll go with committee and department reports. Is Chamber here?
Go.
Okay. Finance Committee.
I'm gonna keep it short. We got our numbers in for October. We're back in line with the previous year. We didn't see that increase that we've been seeing for the last 3 months. Other than the use tax, which was up $43,000. Year to date, we're up $331,720 for the 4 months, so we're still
Still
looking
doing
good.
it. Okay.
We will have a finance meeting to go over the expenses on Thursday at 5:30.
Okay. Alright. Alright, fire.
Mayor and council, I will not be near as short as Steve's, hopefully not as long as Keith's, although I'm not sure. So department for report, and this was as of 8:15 this morning. We have had a total of 83 calls so far. The breakdown of that, I won't give you all the breakdown, but we have had 3 building fires and 69 medical calls as of 8 o'clock this morning for this month. If y'all would like a copy of that, I will most definitely do that for you. So the Boy Scout hut, we have an issue out there, with wasp and yellow jackets. And we were contacted, and Tyler kind of took the rein on that, and we was able to get a exterminator out there and got that remedied before any of the children got stung. And with that said, I do have a letter here from the Scoutmaster, Mr. Alan Roberts, and it says, "Dear City of Kennett Council members, my name is Alan Roberts, and I'm writing on behalf of Boy Scout Troop number 4272 and Cub Scout Pack number 4089. I'd like to say thank you for attending to the nuisance of wasps around and in the Scout Hut. We appreciate the quick response from the city and the safety officers to remedy the problem. If the wasps were not taken care of, we would not be able to meet and use the facility for its designated purposes. We also feared a child might be stung and have a reaction. Again, thank you for taking care of the property in a timely fashion. In scouting, Alan Roberts, Scoutmaster of Troop number 4272 and Cub Master of Pack number 4089.
Can I expound on that?
You can.
Tyler called me and asked me if it was okay to call the exterminator, and I said yes, by the way,
Obviously.
without even consulting. And he sent me a picture afterwards that was quite scary, how many they killed.
There was a bunch.
There were, the floor was covered.
Covered.
It was covered. It was quite crazy.
There was a bunch, and I don't know how much that bill was, but it's been a lot cheaper than having
Yeah.
a child possibly stung.
That was the point of me just saying, yeah, it didn't really matter how to pay for it. That was a good problem. It was bad. So, anyway.
So, as you all know, we're doing an in-house firefighter 1 and 2 class, a blended class. We have 10 people in that class. Within those 10, we have 3 of our new hires and 1 explorer that's fixing to graduate school. We're almost done with the Fire 1 portion of that class, and fixing to start on Firefighter 2 practical skills. We're hoping to test out sometime in January, maybe early February, with these 10 people. If you all noticed, our new tanker 2, is out front of City Hall. The guys have been working very diligently trying to get that cleaned up and polished up. It was in very, very, very nice truck. Very clean when we got it. Very well taken care of. But those of you all that know the fire department very much, we like our stuff really, really clean. And so they have been polishing and working on it. And we are in the process of getting all the equipment to go on that truck and ready for service. It is ready for service as in hauling water right now, but we don't have the hoses and all the extra equipment yet, but we're working on that. The next thing I have, those of you all that know Mr. Paul and Libby Dennis, Paul worked here for 40 years or longer on the fire department, and his house burned, was total loss a couple weeks ago. And I just want to say to the community, thank you for those that helped out. The community, from my understanding, really stepped up and donated lots of things to the Dennis family. And I just wanted to extend thank you for that. We did have one out-of-town fire a few nights ago. And again, I know I've already given the fire breakdown, but these are some that I really wanted to touch on because they were kind of a major thing. The one out-of-town fire, it was an arson fire. It was, however, a vacant home. We also had a fire down at Mako Housing. It was a kitchen fire. So food left on the stove. Potentially could have been a bad thing when we first got there. No one knew where the occupant was. We thought it was a child, actually. And long story short, we ended up finding an individual. But that could have been a major thing. We did have a major accident up on Independence. A two-vehicle accident up there. We were there for several hours. Ended up having to land 2 helicopters on the scene, one in the highway and one over at Lansing. And that was last week. I want to thank the police department for their assistance on both of those calls. We've all worked well together, and they kept the roads blocked off, and everything went well. So, on our first responder program and our paramedic program, I think this is kind of cool. The only reason I'm bringing that because I think, and I'm going to pat myself, but our department and city on the back a little bit. We actually received a phone call last week, the end of last week, from Ripley County Fire Protection District because they heard how awesome our first responder and paramedic program is, and they're wanting information to implement that up in their area. So kudos to everybody in this room for backing us, and kudos to our fire guys for doing the job. Thought that was pretty neat. So, not sure if Paul, because I've missed a couple council meetings, but if you did not know, we did apply for the AFG grant for the air packs, and we were denied. The information that I've received, the Boot Hill Regional Planning Committee wrote that grant, and from what I have been told, that the grant that was sent in did not have enough information, and it's the reason we did not get the grant. With that said, we are looking at other options for that air pack grant. There are other grants out there, and I believe, if I'm not speaking out of turn, I believe Leslie's going to help us possibly on getting another grant. So hopefully that will be coming in the near future. Do you have something on the?
No, I was just saying that's unfortunate.
Again, the paramedic program's going great. The only thing that I would stress to the public and everybody that's in this room, call 911 if you have a fire or a medical call or any emergency. Call 911. And the reason I'm bringing this up, we have had several calls over the past 2-3 months, and people are calling the fire station. If you call the fire station and your house is on fire, or for any other call, an emergency, we may be out on another call, and we may not be able to answer that call. And if your house is on fire and nobody's at the fire station because we're somewhere else, we're not obviously going to answer the phone. So make sure we utilize 911. That's what it's there for. And the very last thing, I got 2 more things, but the second to last, I told you, Keith, I'm getting close, ain't I?
As long as you don't mention a cat in a tree.
And I'm trying real hard to speak this out.
But I can't compete with that.
I've aggravated Tyler all day. I said, they're going to call me Keith if we keep adding to this list. Another thing to the public, as a reminder, make sure you call the fire department before you burn anything. It alleviates us having to come out to check on those fires. The only thing you can burn in town legally is leaves, limbs, and grass clippings, or, as I always tell people, if it grows in your yard, you can burn it. If it does not grow outside, just don't burn it. That's the easiest way to remember that. You do have to call the fire department to get permission. The winds have to be below 7 miles per hour. So we just need to remember that because we have been getting several illegal burn calls. And I've been told that our Murma evaluation is coming up, and I guess Jeff will be doing that on January the 12th for our Murma evaluation. So, does anybody have any questions for me? I know that's a lot of information, pretty quick, but I was trying to beat Keith's time. So, if y'all don't have any questions, I appreciate all your support.
Thank you.
And backing. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Human Resources.
Like to have a closed meeting afterwards, please.
Okay. Humane.
Well, I do know, I was gonna let Tina talk about it, we got our new van.
We did. I picked up our van yesterday. They drove it actually to Hayes, so I'm gonna have to go there to get it. We're gonna schedule it for the lights and the decals, and then we'll be ready to roll.
Great.
It's pretty awesome. It is. And we've been really busy, like with dogs, also writing citations.
Good.
Sorry, Mr. McKay.
And groundhogs.
And yes,
They
helping
came up and
with,
got a groundhog for me, so.
yeah. It took us a little bit, but we did get it.
Got it.
But we've been staying real busy. So, does anyone have any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you for your.
All right, police.
Nothing for the public at this time, but we do need to have a closed session meeting.
Mayor, council, just have one quick thing I want to bring up to the council. We have started putting out information about upcoming testing for patrolman's position. It's on our academy program. We've already put that information out. The first round of testing will be on November 30th here at City Hall. It'll be a written portion of the test. People still have plenty of time to get their application in and get it turned into us. If for some reason you can't get it turned in by November 30th, you can still show up that night and get the test and fill out your paperwork that night. But the first round of testing, that's the written test, is on the 30th. And then on December the 5th, if you pass the written test, you'll be called back to do the physical agility test. But you must take the written test first before you go any further. I will stress that with the public. That'll be the first round of testing. Other than that, that's all I have, unless anyone on the council has any questions. All right, thank you.
Street.
I'm gonna let Keith tell you about some of the construction work that's finishing up, but I know Mr. Walker had said last week about North Street and Baldwin Street, right there. We put some traffic counters out. So from 11:10 to 11:16, and you guys all have this. If I'm reading this right, it's 22 cars that went through that intersection?
Yes.
And
I
then on
guess
North
so.
Baldwin, from 11:04 to 11:10, it was 67 cars. Over on North Street, highest miles per hour through that intersection was 11 miles per hour, and over on North Baldwin, it was up. So, does that sound anywhere near right?
Well, as far as the quantity, yes.
Quantity, but the speed possibly, is that one thing that was the issue, correct?
Yes, well, it slowed down a tad.
So it did slow, okay, so these probably are right then. Has it been slow after the 10th over on North Baldwin by chance?
It seemed like it got slow after the last council meeting out there.
You know why? Because everybody knows you come up here. And honestly, that's true.